Old man?
Before we get started, Sammy is in all our videos. Come here, Sam. Come on. Sammy's in all our videos. And she's 5.5. And, okay, sit. Good girl. Okay. Down.
Oh,
down.
Why do dog owners feel they have to make a show out of it?
Because I'm going to make a point.
Talk.
Okay, good. All right. So Sammy is 5.5, and she came from a breeder that is related to the breeder that Stella came from, and the breeder that our first dog, Sadie, came from. So there's a difference in them besides the size. Thank you. You can take.
And they're both health department inspectors, those dogs.
Yes, and Stella, you know, we can all get it out of our system right now. 1, 2, 3, Stella. That's what everybody does to me. But I just wanted to show you something. She's a champion. She won lots of awards and all. And I went to do this. Stella, sit. Stella, sit. Stella, down. She can't do it. And she's a very smart dog. The reason she can't do it is because she's been in show rings, and they don't want their dogs to sit down. When you're watching the Westminster, they don't want the dogs sitting down or lying around because other breeders are looking at them to say, do I want to breed my dog with your dog? So they never teach them sit or down. I just found it fascinating because now we have to teach her. She doesn't even know. But she's also a golden retriever. Sammy's 68 pounds. She's 58 pounds. But they're very much golden, but very different looking. So now the family's gotten bigger. You'll see them in the videos. Thank you very much.
You want me to take them both or one?
Both.
All right, come on,
Yeah.
Sam. There's another one too, Coco. That's in Bill's office.
Yeah.
She's a little darker, so we kind of get a kick. We call him the golden girl.
She's my sister's dog. All right, Sammy.
Come on, Sam.
Bye.
Ready?
Goodbye.
Come on. Mush.
How about that?
All right.
I forgot my coffee. Can I go get my coffee?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll be right back.
We have nothing but time.
So we have a couple coolers that the ice builds up inside. Not the ice in the ice cream.
Define cooler.
Okay, one of those moving ice cream cabinets with the one door, and it pushes in, and you reach out and scoop. So it has. We have 2 8-bucket coolers like that, and we're constantly having to defrost them. And
Is there a temperature adjustment on it?
yeah, like
Well, the reason the frost is building up is what?
the air.
Air, of course. That's the whole thing. I got to tell you, since we're on that subject, air is your only enemy. You're not going to have to freeze it so long that it goes bad. You're not going to only air. Nothing else is going to hurt you with the ice cream. Air. So if you think about air being a natural killer to your ice cream, and then think about having college kids working in your store, or older people who are senile like me and Steve working in your store, they're not going to, when you have a larger tub, you've got to scrape the sides down all the time because everybody dips from the middle or around a little bit, but not the perimeter. So you have to scrape the sides down with a spade. That's one of your tools that you should have. And you're constantly doing it because otherwise you're throwing money away. In a gallon of ice cream, you got 10 servings. 10 servings. So if you have one of those 3 gallons, which I don't recommend at all, you've got 30 servings. If you have kids working your shop, they're not going to scrape it down. What you're going to do is in the morning, you're going to come in, you're going to open the tops, and you're going to take it and throw it away. And that you're taking money and throwing it away. That's all you're doing, money. Only because of air. It's air. Air and the fact that nobody cares in your store like you do. You're the only one that cares. You can have your sister working there. She doesn't care like you do. It's your business. It's your baby. It's your money. So that's why I use 1-gallon containers. Virtually no air, no scraping down problems, and it's okay. Enough said. Okay.
And the same thing with the gelato pans. They're just 1.5 gallons, 6 quarts. They're very convenient. They're easier to scoop. If you watch an old-time video on how to scoop from a 3-gallon tub, They talk to you about going around in a semicircular motion to roll the ice cream into the scoop. You try doing that when you go home tonight. Just pick up a pen, not even a scoop and not even resistance of ice cream. Just go like this for 5 minutes. You'll hate that you ever heard my name because your wrist will hurt so bad. Your strength is in the bicep. So if you can scoop through the 1 gallon tub or the 6-quart pan like that, it's not going to hurt you. And nowadays, you're not going to get sued for carpal tunnel syndrome or something like that.
And there is, the only scoop you'll ever buy operates on a 45-degree scooping motion. So it's perfect.
And which one is that?
I can't tell.
You mean the Z-roll?
Huh? Yes, Zerol, Z-E-R-R-O-L. It's no moving parts. That's the only scoop you'll ever buy. I use a 4-ounce. I recommend a 4-ounce. And there are 2 reasons why you should use it, which we won't go into now, but you can ask any of the people who've been to my class and they'll tell you at a break, at lunch. Okay, any questions? You had a question, right? And it was,
I got an answer.
okay.
That's nice.
So what are you going to do?
I don't know, get 2 new coolers because, to be honest with you, they're older. I bought them used. You know, you can only make the plastic cover. It's not glass. It's like a plastic plexiglass, and they latch from both sides, and there's air leaking into it.
That's the thing, air. Now you can abate it a little bit by covering inside.
Right. What we used to do is put baking paper over
Right.
our buckets.
Right.
But
It's a pain.
he mentioned putting the actual lids on the buckets.
Right.
Yeah, you got to lid them at night if
So,
you're going to use
which
those.
makes more sense than putting the paper over.
Oh, sure.
And I think that might help the problem.
It'll help. How big are they? 3 gallon, 5 gallon?
3 gallon.
Yeah,
buckets.
it's just not gonna happen.
And I'll bet your 1 gallon containers come with a really tight lid.
They do. And what brand are they? Why, they're Cambro containers.
Oh, there's nothing better.
Well, we have
Nothing
the-
better.
Nothing better.
We have the lids for those containers that you're using, the white plastic ones. So they should work.
They snap shut.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones that you can buy for the 3 gallon containers, it might as well not be there. It's
Yeah.
just a flimsy lid that kind of maybe snaps on, and then when you go to pick up the tub, it pops off. And
Yeah, just check it out. Put liquid, but pour water into your tub, put the top on, turn upside down.
Oh, not with the ice cream tub.
The Cambros, well, nothing will happen.
Yeah.
They'll be fine. They snap. And you know how long they last, those Cambros tubs?
How many?
Forever.
Yeah.
There's 2 kinds, by the way. There's the clear ones. He's got some clear ones here. And there's the frosted ones. The clear ones crack. The frosted ones forever.
Different plastic.
Yeah, it's polystyrene, polypropylene. That's the whole deal. Just like spoons. You ever go into an ice cream store and the spoon bends?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Come on. Those are polystyrene spoons. No good. But you pay a little more, but it's a spoon. You want some integrity there, and you get the hard ones. The ones we use today are the hard ones. You know where I buy these? Sam's Club. Sam's Club.
Restaurant Depot has them too.
Restaurant Depot has them too. The box behind me has 600 spoons, I think, and it's $10. So I went to colored spoons because, hey, I'm a big shot. I wanted fancy, so I went to colored spoons. But I won't get those bendy, cheap spoons, just like straws.
They also can cut your lips too because they have really cheap plastic. And sometimes there's little mold
Good point.
spots
Yeah.
that are still in their
There are.
spoons, and they can,
Yeah, it's just
No, we're giving them
Just
to
buy
babies.
good stuff. And whatever you do, don't buy styrofoam. Don't serve ice cream in styrofoam. It's like putting a Rolls Royce on bald tires. Don't do it. And all day you're going to hear. And the customer has to hear that and go through it. Don't do it. Buy a good cardboard cup, a coated cardboard cup. Styrofoam will cost you about $1.50 per cup because they blow them out. You ever see that? How they blow those styrofoam cups out? They blow them out. And the other cups are going to cost you 17 cents. So, but it doesn't matter. We went over numbers, right? Is there enough in there not to worry about it? Of course. Yes, Kevin.
You mentioned that you use waffle cones, not
Use-
cones, waffle cups.
Yes, waffle bowls.
Bowls. And you said you buy it from an old man who's gone, but
Right.
you never got him to really get it now.
Right.
Because you said you don't make them yourself.
Right.
How would you get those?
Well, the people that I'm working with, she wants to make them. So I'll buy her the waffle iron, the either gold medal or Cobatco, and she'll make them. She's going to have to make a lot of them. What was your question?
Where to buy them?
Where to buy the waffle irons?
No, the bowls.
You make them.
Yeah.
You make them.
But you didn't make them when you had your...
Grumpy made them. Now we have to make them.
But your Grumpy was gone, but it still had your store.
No,
What happened during the
no,
transition?
Grumpy always supplied them.
But he's still around. I thought he died.
Well, why did you think poor Grumpy?
Here
Here one day, gone the next. No, Grumpy's just not, he's older now and he's not doing it. But we'll make them, so your store will smell great, and she'll be a slave to the waffle iron, because we're gonna have to make, 300 at a clip. We'll probably go through 300 in a day.
One question over here first, and then another.
Go ahead.
Me first, okay, I have a, can we talk about the difference between 10%, 12%, 14% butterfat, or why would you use 10%, why would you use 14%? I had
Want me
actually,
to
you
do
didn't really answer.
Well, you can tell your story about
I wanted to
the
see-
14 and the
Yeah.
10, and then I'll fill in.
Okay. I've always used 10 because when I didn't know anything. And that's what they delivered to me, 10% mix. And I used it, and it was great. I had no problem. After about 5 years, by accident, the driver delivering my bladders said, we didn't have 10, so I brought you 12. And I figured, well, okay. And I made ice cream, and I dumped it. I didn't like it, because I did everything the same as I did with my 10%. I just didn't like it. In Florida, it's very hot. And Steve will tell you that in New York, well, he'll tell you. But in Florida, if you try to sell 16%, which is Haagen-Dazs and Ben & Jerry's, if you try to sell 16% butterfat ice cream, your customers are going to be full for a week because it's very heavy in the heat. They'll go outside in the heat and all that butterfat. So 10% works for me. Now, yesterday in class, April up in where is she, North Carolina?
Yeah.
She said all she can get is 14. So I told her that we can figure out how to dilute it, because you can do that, right? Well, you can.
Theoretically.
Another
Theoretically.
step that's annoying.
Well, you figure if you take cream that's
Something
8 or 10% and add it, you'll dilute it. You're not adding so much that it's... But I told her even 14, you'll be fine in North Carolina. Go ahead, Steve.
It really, the answer is it depends on where you are in the country. What did you grow up with? If you're up in Wisconsin, Dairyland, you're going to run 14 or 16 because that's what you grew up on. You taste 10% and you'd say, oh, this is awful. In New York City, I had this conversation with some gentleman this morning before we started. If we were in Manhattan and you had a store, existing store in Manhattan, you were selling a 14% ice cream mix, I would come along, it's Manhattan, and sell 16. Not because it's a better taste, but for bragging rights to say that I'm the richest ice cream in Manhattan. That's a really bad reason to do it. But you sell what people are used to. So you go around to other ice cream parlors in your area and see what they're selling. When I came down here, I was amazed by, compared to New England or Chicago or California, my biggest market, and Denver, my second biggest market, how few ice cream parlors there were in Florida. It's summer all the time. Wonderful. Well, ice cream in high heat makes you uncomfortable. When the temperature gets above 90, ice cream sales drop dramatically. They've proven this. And they don't know why. I do. It's because of the high fat content. It upsets your stomach. It can give you a headache. After seeing that, and all of us New Englanders, New Yorkers coming down here and selling 14% up in New York, I said, let's cut back on the fat and see what happens. So we go down to 10, and all of a sudden the ice cream's refreshing, and it's great. And so that's the only reason we do it. I get people who see our videos, and they call from Idaho and say, I can't find a 10% anywhere. Everything is 14 and 16. And I realize there's a flaw in my video because I say, why are you running 10% then if everybody else is 14 and 16? 14 and 16 is what people are used to in your area. That's what you sell. It's almost to the point of where, like, we call it Italian ice in New York, and in Philadelphia they'd look at you and say, what's that? It's water ice. So it's what people are used to. The main thing is picking a dairy. If you can get hold of 3 dairies and each has all 14%, or if they have different percentages, run the product without any vanilla in it. Just run it through the machine and then do a blind taste test with your family, A, B, and C, and let them taste them and let them see which they like best. Whichever one they pick, and if you agree, that's step 1 of buying from a dairy. Step 2 is price. I really like the 12 over the 10, and it's 50 cents a gallon more. Well, I like it enough that I'll absorb the 50 cents. I'll go. That's number 2 is the price, but it's a far back number 2. And then the third one is I'm going to be giving these people my money, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year for the rest of my business career. I better like them. We had 3 dairies in New York, and one guy, his dairy was the son of the boss. I'm an SOB, son of the boss. And the son was a real jerk. And another dairy, Panza and Sons, Panza, his business philosophy is it's January, it's snowing, it's the worst January we've ever seen. I'll tell you what, we're going to cut back on your bill, you pay half now and we'll double up on it in June. That's a smart businessman. The other business, they'd say, you didn't pay your bill in January, we're sending Vito and Bruno out to break your kneecaps and then collect the money. Well, I don't want to deal business with someone who's going to break my kneecaps. So it's, how does it taste to you? Can you afford it? And do you like the people? Because unlike other products that you have, you may be buying from the same person over and over and over again for many, many years. So it's a threefold approach to it, but don't get hung up on the fat. Again, nobody ever walked out of the store and said, oh, best fat content I've ever eaten. I can't wait to get back to here tomorrow. They eat flavor. I have to go to this lady first. She had a question.
So I'm not sure if the containers that are right behind you, are those like would those be good to use like for Uber Eats, DoorDash, and all that
Yeah,
stuff?
that's
Okay.
why I have them. This cup, I'm not saying I changed the whole industry in 1 year, but pretty close. Back in March, I saw that the COVID was getting to be a real problem. Stores were not going to be able to open or they were shutting down. And I was watching, I'll try to make it short, I was watching a Domino's commercial. Domino's pizza. I think it's a lousy pizza, but it was a good commercial. There's the pizza oven. The door opens, the wood paddle goes in, picks up the pizza, and the deep voiceover is saying, from the time your pizza is made, and then it drops into a box and the lid closes, nobody sees any hands or anything. It then shows up at a nice colonial home with a husband, wife, and 2 kids, and you see the box, no hands, being delivered. From the time your pizza was made, no hands have touched your pizza. And I thought, wow, we've got to do that in the ice cream business, because not everybody was like here in Florida, where we got very liberal very quickly. Most of the countries, most of it is, I don't mean that kind of liberal. Please, don't insult me. But most of the country is shut down to one degree or another. So I went looking for a cup that was more attractive than just your plain old Dixie cup, and Jeff is so right about styrofoam. I didn't know why I hated styrofoam until he reminded me. It's that scraping noise. It's just terrible. And I found these. This is Gelato Supply, the people who make the liners, and they make this 5-ounce cup. Being tapered, it's easy to scoop into. It's attractive, it's biodegradable, and it comes with a nice lid. So you can pre-package cups of mint chip, salted caramel, all different things, nice tight lid. You can pre-package all these, and then the millennial age, which is not passing me by, or even Jeff, they are texting in their order. I'll take a mint chip. I'll take 2 mint chips. I want a salted caramel. I want a cherry Italian ice. We pre-package them, we put them into a bag, we throw in some spoons, maybe we throw in some Ziploc little bags of sprinkles, or you in the Midwest call it Jimmy's. We staple the bag shut, and then now when you get to my store, you text that you're in the parking lot, and either we have a walk-up window, or if we're not that lucky, someone runs out and hands you your party pack. 4 scoops for $25 in a fun party pack that the whole family can sit there and either take it home or sit in the car and eat it and enjoy it. Same thing, pints. This is where I changed the industry. Good luck trying to find a chest freezer right now. I have sold them out across the country. You can't find them at Sears, Home Depot, Lowe's. They've been sold out for a long time because I said we've got to get away from the interaction with the people touching the product. For now, it'll come back, and we've got to do pints. And we are going to sell pints, and the beauty of pints is we can get $7, $8, $9 for a pint. When you come buy a pint, you're going to buy 2 pints because I buy a mint chip for myself, and I better buy a coconut for my wife Paula, or I'll be sleeping in the garage. So I'm going to spend $18 and not even think about it. 9 and 9, or 8 and 8, let's call it. 8 and 8, $16. Why no half gallons? Why no gallons? Because as the head of Penn State told me, Penn State Dairy School, when I asked him, he said you'll spend $8 for a pint, but you won't spend, even Bill Gates won't spend $32 for a half gallon. Your brain just says, it's too much money, I won't do it. So pint sales are through the roof. My customers are up 40, 50, 60% same store sales over the previous year. It's amazing. And most of it is because of these or something like this, and because of pint containers. It's fabulous. And the pint containers will stay forever. That's always going to be part of the business. When I set up a store now, I have a true glass merchandiser or a beverager, I like better. And you come in and you grab 2 pints and you put them on the counter, and the server who's doing scoops runs over, and it's like Starbucks. You want a receipt? No. You want a bag? No. Slide your card. I slide my card. Boom, I'm back in my car with my 2 Goldens. It's 90 degrees out, the air conditioning's on, and I'm heading home. That's how we saved ice cream parlors this year. I had a guy in Boynton Beach who, he's from Jersey, so that makes perfect sense. He didn't have a takeout window. And they told him, and he was a block and a half from the beach. The people who came down to go to the beach were stuck in Florida, and they're still walking up and down. He and his brother-in-law one night busted out a window and reframed it as a takeout window. And his theory, being from Jersey, was forget about it. The health inspector, or the building inspector, is not coming out again until next March. Nothing's being built. And when he comes, I'll pay the $200 fine, I'll apologize profusely, and I'll keep the $300,000 I made selling these in pints in the bank.
We did it even better.
What'd you do?
Well, they came in to shut us down, and they said you can do carry-on only. So the way it is, we walk into our store, and the coolers are on the right-hand side, going down the whole counter. We just took a cooler, moved it in front of the front door, okay? And nobody could come into the store, and they ordered right from there.
Wow, nice.
And we were maybe closed for like 3 weeks, but when the mattress store next to us opened up, we figured we could open up, so.
And Jeff, that same store, which was an Italian ice business, was selling waffle cones for Italian ice. That's weird.
It is.
So anyway, I walk in, I go back a few months later to visit, and the whole store smells of waffle cones,
yeah.
which in an ice cream parlor is very pleasant.
Sure.
In the Italian ice, it didn't make sense.
No.
It didn't make sense at all. I said, you got to move that waffle iron from out front all the way to the back, put it by a window, and a big blower.
Yeah.
Because the smell was setting people off. People think that coffee and ice cream go together. They say that it really doesn't. Sometimes it does, but not very well, because the coffee upsets your brain for the ice cream. I don't know, but it would make me think twice.
John, you had a question?
You know, if you were going to open a store in a place like Ohio where you got the seasons, provided you could get the different fat content of mix, would you make lower fat ice cream in the summer and then switch to higher fat for winter?
No. You've got to make the same. Use Orville Dairy in Ohio is great. You make the same product year round, and my boss once told me, I've been a fireman in different companies, and we have a fireman's weekend celebration type thing. Invite the public in. And I was going to make a low-grade ice cream for the fireman's fund because I was giving it away to him. My boss took my head off. I was 22. He ripped my head off. He said, you only sell your very best wherever it is. If you're going to give it away, that's on you. But you always make your finest product all the time, no variations, because that's your reputation out there. Yeah, don't switch.
How much a cup of that would cost as an Italian ice of that cup right there?
The cup itself,
No,
the Italian ice, 5 ounces, 10 cents.
5 ounces, 10 cents.
Yeah, 2 cents an ounce.
Okay. Say that one more time.
An ounce of Italian ice.
Are you talking about making it or selling it?
Selling it.
Oh, selling it? Whatever the market will bear.
No, not really.
I will sell it for this probably about $4.
3, okay.
3 to 4.
Well, I'm in the shaved ice business,
Yeah.
okay, besides ice cream. Half our business is shaved ice. So we have a cup, 8 ounce, 10, we have 3 sizes, small, medium, large. It's all profit. I mean,
It's ice.
99% profit.
It's just
we
ice.
make our own ice.
Yeah.
We make our own ice. We make our own concentrates. We make our own flavors. Torelli's. We make all those flavors in our own business. So we don't outsource our concentrates or syrups. We make them all, and it's a license to print money.
Yeah, it is. But when you put in the Italian ice, the first year you'll be 90% your product and 10% mine, and I guarantee you by following year it'll be reversed completely because the Italian ice is a more appealing taste. It's got more body to it, more
No, I'm
oomph.
thinking about putting Italian ices in as well as ice cream and our shaved ice. Why not?
I would, in the short run, I would put in Italian ice. Let's see about ice cream later because now you're
No,
kind
we're
of...
already making ice cream. We go through like 30 3-gallon containers.
Oh,
a
okay.
week.
Then just go ahead and put Italian ice in.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
But do flavors that you're not doing. Do like Jeff's flavors of Italian ice, something that's interesting and exciting. You don't need to do cherry, grape, lemon. Those are shave ice flavors. I made coconut last class with a ribbon of Hershey's syrup running through it. Right. I'm still eating it. I took it all home. It was great. So separate it completely. Make it some really cool flavors.
Makes sense.
Acai.
I can't pronounce it.
I know, nobody can.
Bless you. I can't spell it. I can't pronounce it.
I know.
Lorenzo has a question.
Yeah, that's a real like millennial flavor.
Yeah, if you're gonna like in the summertime when it gets hot in Chicago and certain people it's too hot just to get regular hot coffee or just instead of an iced coffee, can you make Italian iced coffee taste?
Oh yeah, I make a great one, and it'll surprise. I have to tell you, I'm a coffee snob. This cup, or whatever it is, it says Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
I just like the cup. This is Black Rifle. This is mud in here. This is the best stuff on earth, Black Rifle coffee. So I love my coffee, but when I make coffee ice or coffee ice cream, this will kill you. I'm using Taster's Choice. It's a horrible freeze-dried coffee, but it works so well in ice cream and ices. Those freeze-dried crystals dissolve 90%. That means every once in a while you get a little crunch. And I use a lot of it, and it makes a great flavor. And you know what you do to protect your customers is make it decaf. Taster's Choice decaf. And you tell them that. And you say, now, don't worry about it. You can eat this at 11 o'clock at night, and you won't be up until next Tuesday. It's decaf. It's great. The recipe's on my website, emerythompson.com. Look up coffee Italian ice, and it's there.
Okay.
Oh, it's great.
Is there such a thing as decaf?
Yes, there's. You asked the coffees. You asked the
Every time I go to a
coffee.
restaurant and order decaf, I know I'm getting, they're just bringing me anything.
No.
But I know it has some caffeine.
You asked a coffee snob. Regular decaf coffee is only something like 96% caffeine free. There's 4% coffee in it, and enough chemicals to make Dow Chemical proud to take that caffeine out. You look for a more expensive coffee that says Swiss water decaf process. And those beans are washed over and over and over. 99.2% caffeine free. Swiss water decaf. And it's great because I'm drinking coffee up until the moment I go to bed.
Well, if you were living where we were, you'd have Cuban coffee.
Oh yeah, you bet. I love Cuban coffee.
That's,
Put hair on your spleen.
I call it Cuban crack. It's Cuban crack. So,
Now, why do you use the Taster's Choice as opposed to like an iRice or a flavor from a Green Mountain or one of the flavor suppliers?
Because they're just an extract, and I'm using real coffee. I have done it the hard way, where you buy a coffee. It takes 24 hours. It's a coffee press, and you take a whole bag of coffee, you put it into a filter, and you have a water jug up here and a water jug down here, and you pour it over in a little opening, and it takes about 24 hours to filter through, and you could paint with it. It's so strong. And it was great, but I couldn't get consistency between one batch to another. One was more strong than the other. It was bitter. The Taster's Choice or any of the freeze-dried coffees. If you like Folgers freeze-dried better, or the Italian one, Bello or something like that, as long as it's freeze-dried crystals, they work. Be careful. The Taster's Choice has a 25-cent coupon in there, and it goes right into the machine with your coffee. So someone's going to get that coupon. Say, hey, look. Be careful. I do it all the time. Anybody ready for lunch?
Do you
No.
grind your coffee up or you just throw it right in?
Throw the crystals right in, into cold water or cold mix. And like I said, it'll dissolve 96% of the time. Once in a while they'll get a crunch, but that's a bonus because all of a sudden, whoa, that was real coffee. And so that's kind of fun. Coffee grounds you can't use.
Publix ice cream, your premium, what do they have for fat content in that?
I think it's about 10. It's made.
It's pretty good ice cream, Publix Premium.
Yeah. And it's new, and they came up with it because I sold them 2 of the CB350s that they put over in Lakeland, and they use, maybe it's one, and then one's at another location, but they use them to test the flavors on the CB350 before they bring them out. So
Yeah, 'cause they have a bunch of, they're selling pints now, experimental flavors.
Yeah.
Limited edition, yeah.
Because you'll buy a pint and you won't even think about the price. You won't even give it any choice.
It reminded me of it, the color.
Yeah.
The Publix green there, yeah.
I'll have to go look for it, but I've tried it. It's pretty good. It's a commercial ice cream, but at least I have my hook in it.
That's what I was wondering.
so after all these years, you still like ice cream, huh?
Oh, I eat ice cream every night.
It's amazing.
I love it. My favorite is Bluebell out of Texas. We put them in business in 1910. And then I find out, thank goodness I just got my 2 COVID shots, but I just found out that I'm taking all this zinc, and I find out that high fructose corn syrup practically negates zinc. So if you're going to eat a high fructose corn syrup ice cream, which I don't recommend, though I do it, and you're taking zinc to protect yourself from COVID, it just...
Does anybody add corn syrup to ice cream in the mix?
I had a guy out in Ohio, it was, G.D. Ritzy, years ago. And G.D. Ritzy, he's long gone. His secret formula was he had a sweet tooth, something awful. And he used to add corn syrup. Ben and Jerry's. I don't remember if it was Ben or Jerry, but the rumor mill has always been in the industry that one of them burned out their taste buds doing acid in college. And don't sue me, I said it's a rumor, it's urban legend. And that he can't, and he was the main taste tester and he couldn't taste sweet. So that's why Ben & Jerry is sweeter than Haagen-Dazs. That story is probably all made up. And you're not going to sue me for it.
Probably.
Frusian Glacia was interesting because it came out at the same time as Haagen-Dazs. It was made in Queens, and it had a rounded bottom to it. So if you put the container on the table, it fell over. But Frusian Glacia, like Haagen-Dazs, which means nothing, was a made-up name because that was the era when you're in my age group, we were all buying Scandinavian furniture. And so anything from Scandinavia, you know, that crummy stick furniture made from teak with cushions that were about that thick, they were horribly uncomfortable. We all bought it. I bought it IKEA, so it only lasted 2 weeks. But Frisian Glacier just went away. I think it was part of Sedudo.
Scan furniture.
Yeah, right, that's right, Scandinavian. I think it was part of Sedudo in New York. But
It was out in Brooklyn, right?
Brooklyn, yeah, they went away.
Oh, no, I just wanted to, I used to like their ice cream.
Yeah, it was good.
The yogurt business is going away.
Sure, because women finally wised up. It was kind of like the scene out of Mean Girls, where they were feeding her the granola bars that were 4,000 calories a bar, and the young lady couldn't figure out why she was gaining weight. Frozen yogurt was fat-free. Oh boy, it's fat-free. Yeah, well, it's about 40% sugar, because otherwise it won't freeze in a machine. Right. There was nothing to freeze, so they froze sugar. So you were taking in a ton of sugar eating this so-called healthy frozen yogurt. And I ran into a frozen yogurt store down by Naples. Guy had 6 Taylor machines. And I said, wow, you must be here all night cleaning these machines. He said, oh, we don't clean them, we just put more mix in.
They're a nightmare to clean.
Yeah, they are.
All those soft serve machines are a nightmare.
Yeah, they take an hour. What do you say we eat? And then we'll continue. I'll get the lunch.
He sure does like his coffee, doesn't he?
And